Job's story is not just an ancient tale. It's a powerful journey that resonates with the challenges we all face in life. Imagine a man who seemingly had everything: wealth, family, health, and a deep connection with God. Yet, in the blink of an eye, everything was taken from him. This is the story of Job, a story of faith, resilience, and the search for understanding in the face of unimaginable hardship. As we delve into Job's life, we find a person who was not just blessed with material wealth, but also a profound sense of spiritual abundance. Job was known as a man of integrity, someone who lived his life in reverence to God, seeking to do what was right and just. Yet, despite his righteousness, Job's life was turned upside down, testing the very foundation of his faith. This narrative invites us to reflect on our own lives and challenges. It asks us to consider how we respond when life throws its harshest tests our way. Job's story challenges us to look beyond the surface and see the deeper truths about faith, perseverance, and the human spirit. It's a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is a light that can guide us through if we choose to hold on to our faith and trust in something greater. Job's trials were not just ordinary hardships, they were profound tests of his faith and character. In a matter of moments, Job lost everything he held dear: his wealth, his children, and even his health. Imagine the depth of despair and confusion he must have felt. These losses were not just physical, but also deeply emotional and spiritual, challenging Job's understanding of his relationship with God. The stakes in Job's story are high because they are about more than just personal loss. They are about the struggle to maintain faith when everything seems to be falling apart. Job's friends, who come to console him, only add to his distress by suggesting that his suffering must be a result of his own wrongdoing. This highlights a critical question that many of us face. Why do bad things happen to good people? Job's response to his trials is a testament to his unwavering belief in a just and loving God. Despite his pain and confusion, Job refuses to curse God. Instead, he seeks understanding and wisdom, choosing to hold onto his faith even when the world around him is in chaos. His story reminds us that faith is not just about believing when things are good, but also about trusting in the divine plan, even when it seems incomprehensible. Job's early life was marked by prosperity and happiness. He lived in the land of Uz, a place of peace and abundance. Job was a man of great wealth, with vast lands, numerous livestock, and a large family. But what truly set Job apart was his faith and integrity. He was known throughout the land as a man who feared God and shunned evil, living a life that was pleasing to God and beneficial to those around him. His faith was not just a private matter, but a guiding principle that shaped his interactions with others. Job was generous and kind, always willing to help those in need. His life was a reflection of his deep spiritual beliefs, a testament to his commitment to living a life that honored God. However, Job's story is not just about the blessings he received, but about the challenges he faced. Despite his righteousness, Job was not exempt from suffering. His story challenges the notion that good deeds always lead to rewards in this life. It prompts us to consider the complexity of faith and the mystery of God's ways, encouraging us to trust in a plan that is often beyond our understanding. Job's early life is a reminder of the importance of building a strong foundation of faith. It shows us that while material wealth can be taken away, the strength of our character and our commitment to our beliefs can sustain us through the toughest times. Job's faith was not dependent on his circumstances, but rooted in a deep and abiding trust in God. His story encourages us to cultivate a faith that can withstand the trials of life, a faith that is resilient and unshakable. Job's trials began unexpectedly, as life's most challenging moments often do. The serenity of his prosperous life was shattered by a series of catastrophic events that tested his faith to its core. In a single day, Job received the devastating news that his livestock had been stolen and his servants slain by marauding bands. The loss of his wealth was only the beginning, as the messengers kept coming, each bringing more tragic news than the last. The most heart-wrenching blow came when Job learned that all his children had perished in a sudden and violent storm that destroyed the house they were celebrating in. This unimaginable loss left Job reeling, stripped of the blessings he had cherished and nurtured. His grief was profound, and his heart was heavy with the pain of losing his loved ones. Job's response to these trials is remarkable for its humility and faith. Despite the overwhelming grief and loss, he tore his robe and shaved his head as signs of mourning, then fell to the ground in worship. Job's famous words, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised," echo through time as a testament to his unwavering belief in God's sovereignty, even in the face of unimaginable suffering. As if the loss of his wealth and family were not enough, Job was soon afflicted with a painful physical ailment. Covered in painful sores from head to toe, Job found himself sitting on a heap of ashes, scraping his skin with a broken piece of pottery to relieve his suffering. This physical torment added another layer to his trials, testing the limits of his endurance and faith. Job's suffering was not just physical, it was deeply isolating. His wife, overwhelmed by their shared grief and despair, urged him to curse God and die, questioning why he continued to maintain his integrity in the face of such overwhelming adversity. Her words reflect the common struggle of grappling with faith in times of extreme hardship, a struggle that many can relate to when faced with their own personal crises. Despite his physical and emotional agony, Job refused to abandon his faith. He rebuked his wife gently, reminding her that accepting good from God also means accepting adversity. Job's strength in this moment is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit when anchored in faith. His perseverance in the face of such overwhelming trials challenges us to consider our own responses to suffering and the role of faith in our lives. In the midst of his profound suffering, Job's faith remained steadfast. While his circumstances were dire, Job's commitment to his beliefs never wavered. His friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to comfort him, but their presence soon turned into a series of debates and discussions about the nature of suffering and divine justice. They insisted that Job's suffering must be a punishment for sin, reflecting a common belief that good is always rewarded and evil is always punished. Job, however, maintained his innocence and refused to accept their reasoning. His unwavering faith became a central theme in his discourse with his friends. Job challenged the notion that suffering was always a result of wrongdoing, emphasizing that his conscience was clear and his faith in God unshaken. His argument highlighted the complexity of faith and the mystery of God's plan, encouraging us to trust in a higher wisdom even when we cannot see the path ahead. Throughout his trials, Job longed for an audience with God, yearning for an explanation for his suffering. His desire for understanding and his willingness to confront his doubts and fears make Job's faith journey relatable to many who have questioned their beliefs in times of hardship. His story invites us to explore the depth of our faith and the resilience needed to navigate life's challenges, teaching us that true faith often involves wrestling with doubts and emerging stronger on the other side. As Job sat in his suffering, the dialogues between him and his friends took center stage. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar initially came to comfort him, but their conversations soon turned into a series of intense debates about the reasons behind Job's suffering. Each friend offered a different perspective, but all were united in their belief that Job must have sinned to deserve such punishment. Eliphaz, drawing on personal experience, suggested that Job's suffering was a form of divine correction. Bildad argued from tradition, asserting that God does not punish the innocent. Zophar, with a more blunt approach, insisted that Job's punishment was less than he deserved. These arguments reflect a common human tendency to rationalize suffering and seek explanations that fit within a moral framework. Job, however, remained resolute in his innocence. He challenged their assumptions, asserting that his suffering was not a consequence of personal wrongdoing. Through these dialogues, the complexity of divine justice is explored, inviting us to consider the limitations of human understanding in the face of God's greater plan. Job's steadfastness in his beliefs highlights the importance of maintaining integrity and faith, even when faced with accusations and misunderstandings. Amidst the debates with his friends, Job's internal struggle became evident as he grappled with the weight of his suffering. His pleas to God were raw and honest, filled with questions about the nature of justice and the reasons behind his trials. Job longed for a direct conversation with God, hoping for answers that would make sense of his pain. Job's questioning of his fate is a powerful reflection of the human experience. In moments of despair, many of us have found ourselves questioning why we face certain challenges and what purpose they serve. Job's courage in voicing his doubts and frustrations is a testament to his deep faith, as he continued to seek understanding rather than abandoning his beliefs. Through his pleas, Job expressed a desire for vindication and a hope that his suffering was not in vain. His story encourages us to engage with our doubts and to seek understanding, even when the answers seem elusive. It reminds us that questioning is a natural part of the faith journey and that true strength lies in seeking truth with an open heart. In a dramatic turn of events, God finally responded to Job out of a whirlwind, providing a revelation that transcended human understanding. Rather than providing direct answers to Job's questions, God spoke of the vastness and complexity of creation, illustrating the limits of human knowledge and the grandeur of the divine plan. God's response was not about explaining the reasons for Job's suffering, but about shifting the perspective from a human-centered view to a divine one. By highlighting the wonders of creation and the intricacies of the universe, God reminded Job of the broader context in which his life existed. This revelation encouraged Job to trust in a wisdom far greater than his own. Job's response to this divine encounter was one of humility and awe. He realized that his understanding was limited and that his role was to trust in God's wisdom. This moment marked a profound transformation in Job's journey, as he moved from questioning to a deeper acceptance of his place within the divine plan. It serves as a reminder that faith often involves embracing the mystery of life and trusting in the unseen hand of divine guidance. After Job's encounter with God, his story took a turn towards restoration and renewal. God rebuked Job's friends for their misguided advice and instructed them to offer sacrifices, with Job praying on their behalf. This act of intercession highlighted Job's enduring faith and integrity, even in the face of his own trials. Job's fortunes were restored, with God blessing him with twice as much as he had before. He was granted new children, more wealth, and a long life filled with joy and prosperity. This restoration was not just a return to his former state, but a symbol of the profound transformation that had taken place within him. Job's restoration is a powerful testament to the rewards of unwavering faith and the possibility of redemption and renewal after suffering. It emphasizes the idea that while trials may be difficult, they can lead to greater blessings and deeper spiritual growth. Job's story encourages us to hold on to hope, trusting that even in the darkest moments, there is the potential for renewal and transformation. Job's story is rich with lessons that resonate with us today. It challenges the simplistic notion that good behavior always leads to material rewards and that suffering is always a punishment for wrongdoing. Instead, it invites us to explore the complexity of life, recognizing that trials can be a part of the divine plan for growth and transformation. One of the key lessons from Job's story is the importance of maintaining faith in the face of adversity. Job's unwavering belief in God's justice and wisdom, even when he could not understand his suffering, serves as an inspiring example of resilience and trust. His story reminds us that true faith involves wrestling with doubts and questions while holding on to the hope that there is a greater purpose at work. Job's interactions with his friends also teach us about the importance of compassion and empathy. His friends' misguided attempts to rationalize his suffering highlight the need for understanding and support, rather than judgment and blame, when others are going through difficult times. As we reflect on Job's story, we are reminded of the profound strength of the human spirit and the enduring power of faith. Job's journey through unimaginable trials and his eventual restoration is a testament to the resilience and depth of belief that can carry us through life's most challenging moments. The story of Job invites us to embrace our own spiritual journeys with courage and faith, trusting in a divine plan that is often beyond our understanding. It encourages us to hold on to hope and to seek the wisdom that comes from engaging with our doubts and questions. Ultimately, Job's story is a celebration of the power of faith to transform our lives, guiding us through darkness into light. By sharing Job's story, we hope to inspire you to reflect on your own journey and to find strength in the knowledge that, like Job, you are not alone in your struggles. Embrace your faith, seek understanding, and trust that, with time and perseverance, you too can experience the profound transformation that comes from a life lived in alignment with the divine.